Once she did that, I didn't want the cat, so I backed out and never came back. Suck a nigga dick or something. 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 My nigga D-Magic said he had to have it. I said just forget it, it's too crowded. No little freak in Hollywood sucks on dick, does it real good. She'll give you money, fill up your tummy, house full of kids, parents all sprung. Once had it down, backyard ground, hit it from the back, enjoy the sound. Lay 'em undercover, always used a rubber, till I got caught fucking with my mother. She blamed it on me, we fought in the street. She pulled out a knife, so I had to flee. Called up the boys, went to her house, charged the whole place, threw the bitch out. Police busted in, where the niggas at? We left just in time and never came back. Rolled through the hood, waving at the freaks who sniffing on the rocks, smoking off the gigs.
Oh yeah, how you guys doing out there?
Police station, saw
It's 2 o'clock.
drove by and sprayed him, license tag number, but never said he saw. Focus of the time, never get caught.
Just lay on the bed and give me some head. You don't have to ask. You don't have to beg. Choosy is my name. Sex is my game. Let's call the boys and I guess let's run a train. And squeeze on my nuts, but please don't lick in my butt. You know, the natural hairs, those don't touch. You know, first time, find a place, then find a mate. Then throw a bag and hide the whole space, you know. How you guys doing? It's another beautiful night, and it's 2 o'clock. Hopefully this time my vocals will be at the right volume. I'm going to be going in and out testing to see what's going on. I'm still in the beginning stages, y'all. This is my second episode. I still need sponsors. I hope everybody's still hoping that I'll do good. But we got some crazy actions going on. I'm going to be more into it. I had a friend of mine that I haven't talked to in a while. He hit me up and he gave me some good wisdom. And I'm not going to say his name or anything like that, but I do appreciate that. Like, he actually does want to see me succeed. So I'm going to be trying to do what he asked. This is like Adult Swim. You know, it's not for kids. I want people to be able to get information that I think that they just don't see normally unless they're looking for it. I'm one of those people that really look into news and trying to find out the answers, not just to any situation. I want to know how to do a Rubik's Cube. You know, if I can find a cheat code, I would be looking into it. So that's the type of thing I look at in life and how I actually look at things that are going on in the world. So I think that everything is not just, oh, crazy, he's this, that, and other. Stop, think, and think about it if you were in that position and how would you do things. You know, I think a lot of people, they just go off of what they've been told, and I'll go further into that later. I believe that a lot of things that we've been told has been a lie. Like, I think the Santa Claus effect, which I got a channel that never started, but I call it the Santa Claus effect. And I believe that we're all in in a situation of Santa Claus is going to help us one day. And he's going to give us gifts just because we did good. It's not like that. There's people that do bad things that get gifts, and there's people that do good things that give gifts. It's just about who's the person who's going to give the gifts, but it's not no imaginary person, you know. So that's just my opinion. Let's go ahead and get into the breaking news to the day. I thought I might say something instead of just starting it off like where I don't give who I am. I'm going to get more into that. You know, I'm just warming up. Today, I'm not going to be so organized. I'm just going to be going straight off to YouTube. And I don't pay for it, so there might be commercials that'll pop up. Hey, we'll go through it for a second and then I'll cut it off. But just letting you know, so don't be mad at me because I don't get paid yet. I'm still doing this for you guys for free. But the best thing you can do right now is just like, subscribe, and give a comment. Tell me how you feel about it. If you got something negative to say, don't say it at all. Like, it's like if you, I don't know, when kids used to be like, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. Just leave it alone. Don't watch me. You know, if you don't feel the way that I feel, that's okay. If you want to hear something from a different perspective, then listen. But you don't need to do that. But I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to let you go ahead and fly everything you want to. But I don't think it's necessary. But yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah, but I said I'm going off the cuffs with this one. I think I want to start it off with, I'm going to start off with Jesse Waters. I like Jesse Waters, man. He's a good guy. And he's going to be probably the next Tucker Carlson, if I say so. I'm pretty good at my psychic powers. Let's check him out. See what he's got to say.
So as you see, I'm back from assignment, and I'm not really allowed to tell you where I was. And if any of you ever find out, don't tell anyone, because I'll get in trouble. So let's go to D.C., where a big fight erupted today before Congress certified the election.
Oh, it's an insurrection. It's an insurrection.
Pretty much the same thing as January 6th 4 years ago. Just some minor differences. This just moments before Congress certified Trump's victory. CNN says today marks the most stunning comeback in U.S. political history. And of all people, Kamala Harris was the one who made it official.
President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Wait a minute.
She's the first woman to certify her own loss, and the first person.
I finally found it. I've been searching for the perfect head shaver for over a decade now. The groom
you've ever met in your whole.
I knew that was gonna happen. It was gonna be a commercial. But what the heck? And then happened here. I went through a lot. So, okay. She didn't hit the gavel because they was clapping.
Kamala of the state of California has received 226 votes.
She's the first woman to certify her own loss and the first person to certify a U.S. election
Good
for
riddance.
Hitler.
Good riddance.
Well, today was obviously a very important day, and it was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
Trump calls today a big moment in history. And
It is a big moment in
the
history.
Obama era. A Democratic strategist says you can just smell it in the air. A deep sense of betrayal among Democrat voters. And an
Can you
underlying
smell it in
realization that
the
Democratic
air?
Party's Politburo sold voters a bill of goods. The gaslighting of the public on Biden's decrepitude, the false idol of the Kamala Harris's campaign of joy, and the repeated cowering to the far left. Even Chuck Schumer says Democrats lost their mind.
Oh,
We did
hell
some things
no.
wrong, and we have to look in the mirror and see what we did wrong. And then there's some things we didn't do that we should have done. One of the things we
Okay, so Chuck Schumer right here, out of all Democrats, man, if you don't see evil within this look right here, just look at this dude. This is a perfect example of a face of evil. Like if you was to look in a dictionary, you would see evil. This would it be right here. Like Chuck Schumer. He is the Penguin in Batman. Sad. People they've been brainwashed though. They think that this guy is the guy that's gonna save you.
have to do is we must focus on the working families of America. We talked about the mechanics of the legislation and the details of the legislation, and we really didn't show the kind of empathy and concern to average, or show enough of it to average
didn't show
working
enough.
families who didn't realize how much
So you just didn't show enough realizing we didn't do shit for nobody other than ourselves, basically.
we had done and how much we care for them.
Chuck Schumer staged a photo op on Father's Day grilling burgers and dogs to show he's connected to average working families.
Putting cheese on burgers that aren't even fully cooked. Ain't that a bitch? The world. The world.
Schumer got his one daughter a cushy job at Facebook, and his other daughter's a lobbyist for Amazon. And neither of them ate the hamburger because Chuck put a slice of cheese on the raw meat. He's still saying Bidenomics delivered for working families, but those stupid rubes don't know how good they have it. We just need a new sales pitch.
Just remember, too, I don't know what this is. Everything that I'm watching right now, I just put together and saved it so I can watch it with you guys. I like doing that because then you can get my raw reaction, and I think that that's more authentic. If it's going to be live, it should be live. So I haven't watched this. I don't know what's going on.
Here's some advice. Stop trying to show you care about Americans and just care about them. James Carville, still in recovery.
It's very depressing. But if you're doing political,
Okay, you know who this dude is right here? That's Skeletor from He-Man. That's him right here. Carvel. This guy, I don't even know how he's a Democrat. He looks like he's like some wounded soldier. Now, if this is your Democrat and you don't think evil, this is another evil guy right here.
strategy, if you have an airplane crash, you got to go back and find out what went wrong. There's a simple, basic rule of politics is voters want an election about them. They don't want an election about you or your opponent. And for too much, we lost that. I lost it myself. We made it about Trump, and we didn't make it about voters. And that's never a good idea. And how could I, at 80 years
Now he gonna act like he had the answers. Everybody was telling y'all niggas that no celebrity, no Nobody is going to change the fact that these people can't buy groceries and afford to live. It's not going to change nothing. When you came through, shut down gas everywhere, shut down people's way to be able to make money when the pandemic was going in Democrat states. Now you're going to think that the people forgot.
So been doing this for 50 years, lapse into that level of stupidity. I got to ask myself. But I think we did. And, let's learn from this. It's a disaster.
I was off for 2 weeks on assignment, and I didn't think I'd come back to a new year and still have Democrats struggling over what went wrong. Same with Biden. After hiding from the press, he's now snapping at them.
The only thing, my being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Dana made a great point on the 5. All these relationships Biden had with world leaders, what good did it do? He couldn't stop Russia from invading, Mexico from invading, or China from spying. And now he's just monkeying around.
You know what Jesse Helms talked about? Before he died, he said, I made a big mistake, Joe.
Yeah, he did.
I should have never said what I said.
He said.
And by the way, I didn't get on with him at all. But know what he said? He said, I should have never said what I said about, all those folks just got out of trees not long ago like monkeys. He said, I was wrong about that.
You were
I want to
wrong.
take it all back. People can change.
Nah,
But you
people
gotta
don't
know,
change.
you
People
gotta
just
talk
do
to
things different.
Doesn't mean you'll do it, but things can change.
Hold up. People don't change. They just do things different. Whoever they are, that's who they are. If you're a person that believes in God, you can change that. If you don't believe in, then you don't believe in God. If you choose to walk and you have no legs, can't walk. The one thing that they have told us is you can be anything you want to be. It's a lie. Santa Claus effect. You can only be what you can be. You can only do what you can do. So if your brain ain't functioning properly enough to be able to do the job or do what you want to do, then you ain't doing it. So, crap.
Have you ever had an experience where you're just going along and life was not going the way you wanted and you're...
Biden just told that story to new members of Congress.
Commercials are funny, though. They always say something good.
The moral of the story is that old white racists can change? Why is he telling that story? We don't know, but he kept going.
By the time Strom Thurmond left the United States Senate, he had, I'm not making a case for him, but he had more African Americans on his staff than any United States senator had. More. Strom Thurmond had an illegitimate child.
Strong Thurmond.
Never denied it, never stopped paying for his upbringing. There's a lot of strange people, a lot of different people. No, I mean, well, I bet I can look at you and I can find some strange things too. No, but I'm really serious.
So my racist friend set the record for the amount of blacks he had working for him, and he got a black woman pregnant. And you have skeletons in your closet too. Welcome to Congress.
Dun, dun, dun.
Later, Biden sang happy birthday to some teenage activists and then forgot his name.
Guess what?
Guess what?
Tomorrow is his birthday. We have a tradition in our household. Got to sing happy birthday. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
We've all done it. For the first time in a while, the big guy spent the weekend at the White House instead of hunkered down with Hunter in Delaware. And he was handing out presidential medals of freedom like candy canes. There he is. Magic Johnson got one. He deserved it. Hillary Clinton got hers, although she never once led the league in assists. And doesn't she look fantastic?
He got George Soros.
Whatever she's doing is working. Biden even gave one to George Soros, a man who single-handedly financed an American crime spree. Soros the younger accepted it on his father's behalf, but Soros...
Okay. George Soros, man, he's like the guy in the same background that's like running shit just because he's got money. At least Elon Musk is like being transparent. He's telling everybody what he's doing. Like, people with power, if they're gonna be doing stuff, man, just say what you about to do.
The Democrats' biggest donor got a Presidential Medal of Freedom? That is tacky. Hunter was in the House. He was hoping for one, too, but all he got was a pardon. Biden promised he'd ensure a smooth transition for the next Trump administration. Oh, and then today he banned offshore oil and gas drilling. Here's Trump.
I see it just came over that Biden has banned all oil and gas drilling across 625 million acres of U.S. coastal territory. It's ridiculous. I'll unban it.
It sounds like Trump got a code or something. See, they trying to take Trump out with anything, man. We gotta pray for him. Hopefully he gets better.
Immediately. And when I see somebody saying he's going to ban 625 million acres, he doesn't know what that is. He doesn't even know what 625 million acres would look like. And we can't let that happen to our country. It's really our greatest economic asset. And we're not going to let that happen to our country.
Biden knows Trump's just going to reverse it. He's just trying to eat up the clock. It's like when your son throwing your keys on the lawn before you take him to school. You're going to find the keys, but he's just being a pain. Biden's handing Trump a fiscal ticking time bomb, and it's threatening to blow up at any minute. A $2 trillion deficit that's freaking out the bond market. And Trump's coming in ready to rewire the last 4 years. Bidenomics is out. Trump's teeing up the AI economy. Higher wages and productivity and real demand, not fake demand for things no one likes like electric cars, or migrant handouts, and whale-killing windmills. He's been at Mar-a-Lago dialed in, holding meetings with advisors, poring over charts of the McKinley-Teddy Roosevelt presidencies, analyzing the economic benefits of tariffs. That's according to the No Spin News. Trump's getting set to cram a year of promises into one day. The latest game plans to pack Trump's tax, energy, and border agenda into one big mega bill and get it past the House by late April.
Are you still in traditional investments like stocks or real estate? If you are, you're doing it wrong. There's a little known trend attracting millions of people right now called audible uploads that can generate ongoing income with significant growth potential. In fact, they're one of the best ways for everyday people to start an extra income stream in their spare time.
Anyone can do it.
All of the expertise is right there at your fingertips.
I even told my daughter, do this thing with me. This thing works.
Absolutely insanely mind-blowing.
Probably the best decision that I've made in my life.
You have a fan. Want to know how you can get started with Audible Uploads too? Give me 60 seconds and I'll show you. So there's a pair of twins called the Mickelson twins, and they were able to quit their job and make more than they've ever made by taking advantage of Audible Uploads. And since then, that company, Publishing.com, has been the 19th fastest growing company in America by Inc. magazine, and most importantly, helped tens of thousands of people learn about Audible Uploads too. And right now, he's sharing how you can take advantage of this little known Audible secret with a brand new free training which walks you through his Audible Uploads method step by step.
Well, I favor one bill. I also want to get everything passed. And, there are some people that don't necessarily agree with it. So I'm open to that also. My preference is one big, as I say, one big, beautiful bill. Now, to do that takes longer. To submit it takes longer, actually. But so it's a longer process. To me, it just is it's cleaner, it's nicer. Now, with that being said, we'd get some border work done a little bit earlier, et cetera, et cetera.
While I was out on assignment, Trump was working the phones, jawboning congressmen into keeping Mike Johnson as speaker. This is what he said. Quote, "It would be disrespectful to Americans who voted in a historic presidential election to have this speaker's vote go to a second or third ballot." Ending with, fellas, we have a lot to do. Let's get to it. And they voted in Mike Johnson with only one holdout, Congressman Massey from Kentucky. Trump's expecting no shenanigans over his nominations. The Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, privately told Trump that Hegseth already has the votes to be confirmed at the Pentagon. And next week, confirmation hearings, baby. We're told it could be Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Tulsi, Kash Patel, and maybe more, all lining the runway before inauguration, which is January 20th. Happens to be Martin Luther King Day. So everybody's going to have the day off. This means there's no excuse for this crowd to not be the biggest crowd in inauguration history.
And who gave everybody the day off for Martin Luther King's Day? Made it a federal holiday. Donald J. Trump.
The second Trump term is strictly business. Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, they call her the Ice Maiden, has no tolerance for troublemakers. She wants a no-drama zone at the White House. She's promising it won't be the same chaotic den of self-sabotaging that stymied the first term. She told staffers, I don't welcome people who want to work solo or be a star. My team and I will not tolerate backbiting, second-guessing inappropriately, or drama. These are counterproductive to the mission. So Trump's nominated a bunch of Fox News hosts who aren't allowed to be stars. This should be fun. Young staffers are being told to get ready to work punishing hours. You know, the kind of hours that primetime staff work, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is a stark contrast to the Biden White House. There will not be lids called at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. The incoming Trump administration wants no sand in the gears this time. That means from the inside or from the outside. The resistance for now has been broken. There's only a few dead-enders like Judge Merchan here in New York, who's announced he's going to sentence Trump for the so-called hush money case this Friday. No jail time, he says. He just wants to get one last whack at the bad boy before he's sworn in. The resistance will regroup eventually, and they'll definitely throw more than a snowball. But this presidency is about to start with a bang. So get ready, and Happy New Year. Click here.
Want to keep your hairline where it is? Through Hims.com, you can explore a range of options.
Found dead inside a Cybertruck Wednesday at the Trump International Hotel following an explosion. We told you yesterday that Matthew Leibelsberger lived in Colorado Springs and rented the Cybertruck in Denver. Investigators are now sharing new evidence discovered on the 37-year-old's phone. They include a letter he wrote before detonating the bomb. Investigators also officially confirmed through the driver's DNA and dental impressions that Leibelsberger was behind the wheel. News 5 senior reporter Megan Cloherty has been following this story and has the latest details. Megan.
Diane, these are glimpses into what investigators say could be considered Leibelsberger's motive. They say despite the location of the explosion outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, Leibelsberger had no animosity toward the president-elect. They are calling this a suicide that was meant to send a message. In one excerpt from the letter, investigators found in the notes section of his phone that Matthew Leibelsberger writes, quote, "This was not a terrorist attack, it was a wake-up call." Later writing, quote, "What better way to get my point across than a stunt with fireworks and explosives?" In another entry, he writes, quote, "Why did I personally do this now? I needed to cleanse my mind of the brothers I've lost and relieve myself of the burden of the lives I took." Investigators say that last entry speaks to the personal family issues and mental health challenges that Leibelsberger was experiencing.
Although this incident is more public and more sensational than usual, it ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran who is struggling with PTSD and other issues.
This is video released by investigators today, taken from the Cybertruck, showing Leibelsberger en route to Nevada, including at a Tesla charging station. Leibelsberger was a master sergeant in a highly decorated Green Beret, as the FBI special agent just said. He served 19 years in the Army and was stationed out of Fort Carson in Germany. He was on leave at the time. Investigators mentioned there's still a lot of evidence to come through, including another phone and laptop they've been unable to get access to. Reporting in the newsroom, Megan Cloherty, News 5.
Yeah.
Right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff for the Las Vegas Metro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so this is leading to that. They didn't tell you nothing in that they won't. So what I do when I'm giving you guys information, man, I go and try to find everything I can and try to give you the best information that I can find about certain situations. And this is what I found. It goes on for a second, but
this initial message for you, because doesn't have names or anything else on it, but this was his message on Sunday.
Now he's talking about the guy who actually was driving the car, sent him a message.
He reached out and said, like I said, this last Sunday, he said, "Sending with a VPN active on Wi-Fi only. Do not message me. I will send out updates via both Signal and email, but trust me, you're going to want to be involved." Well, first of all, no, I didn't want to be involved. Anyways, and then, so I didn't message. I responded back to his original Instagram message, and I said, "Hey, I got your message on Proton Mail." And he said, "Cool, delete this." So I deleted it. That's how I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday. And when I started reading this, my initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto. Mm-hmm. And I told him that in a subsequent email. And I'll read that to you later, my response to him. And once again, my response to him elicited, "Hey, get me in contact with Sean Ryan, Fox News," and he even said Pete Hegseth. "Get me in contact with Hegseth." And I'm like, dude, I don't have the incoming Secretary of Defense's phone number. Sorry, bro. That's the last time I talked to him. So yesterday morning.
What date was that?
That was Tuesday. That was this Tuesday. So we're Friday now. That was 3 days ago.
So
the day before.
30th?
Yeah, the day before the attack. I dismissed this stuff out of hand.
The 31st. It was on the 31st.
Yes. In fact, I posted something on my... I told your producer about this as well. But this was a post I made on Twitter. I was just trying to be humorous, off the cuff. It was... It didn't mean anything about it. I was just being humorous for my audience. I said, my inbox was especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, government anti-gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds. It's always, the world is ending and I have this information that needs to get to the media, and never, how you doing, brother? Everything all right? I was just playing off of a meme. It was just supposed to be a joke. That was the body of his email that he sent me. And I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know who Matt Berg was, Matt Livelsberg, or anything else. He told me who he was in the email. He pointed me to his LinkedIn account. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I was just kind of being humorous with my audience. Like, I get these crazy messages sometime. And then the day after that message, I wake up and my buddy was like, hey, Sam, nobody in the community seems to know this guy. Do you happen to know who he is? And I played that for you before we came up here. Just absolute shock. That's how I woke up yesterday.
Do you want to play it now?
Yeah, excuse my language. I was definitely in shock. Let me find this chat. So,
While you're digging through that, you know what we should do? I should get that Instagram account from you to see if they messaged any of our Instagram accounts, and we should also get that email
I don't have
address.
it. I deleted it.
You deleted it.
He told me to delete it, and I deleted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should also get that email address and see if they sent it in through the website, and see if he tried to contact us. Get that to the FBI.
Stretching will not make you flexible, and it will not eliminate your recurring injuries. Stretching will relax your muscles.
So I'm in a military.
Hopefully they actually do something.
Yeah, I'm in a military group chat. Buddy Green Beret, Corey, he says, at Sam. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, OF, I'm shaking. This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing. And then he said, damn. And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
Dude, I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a VBID. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email. I am shaking, man. This is nuts.
And it goes from there. And I sat there for probably an hour talking to my wife. I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like, normal day is shot, and I didn't know what I want to do. Do I sit on this? Do I do nothing with it? I've got to tell somebody. I've got to tell the FBI at least, because this is huge. This is all over the news. And then I was like, well, dude, this guy wanted to get in contact with Sean Ryan, so let me get this to Sean Ryan, see if I can get with him. And I had a buddy who knew your producer, and we went from there. But
wow. Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on.
Okay. So what we got here is the dude right here. He basically got an email from the guy who was driving the Tesla truck before he blew it up. Supposedly. Allegedly. And he basically sent him a letter that he wanted certain people to know about. So, you know, there's people that have been whistleblowers that have just been shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why that light just turned on. This is interesting. But yeah, interesting what we're about to hear. Listen to this.
On December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S.
Gravitic propulsion systems. Gravitic propulsion systems. Like people use that. I don't know, like, you know, those UFOs or shit like that, but I've already expected this though, man. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna be lost in the sauce. We've been lied to. Like they got. I think it's since been my ideal of the information that they've known about has been since World War II. The Nazis, they supposedly had a lot of information that is, and that's why they wanted all of the scientists to work for them. That's why they didn't kill, well, like prison them or kill them. They wanted them to work for America and China because they had technology that we didn't have. I believe that there's already space explorations that are going on, but a lot of the stuff that we think that is real is not real. It'll be a day. I can go through a cabal of stuff, but we're gonna start one at a time, and then I'll guide you in. But here we go. So basically, this dude's talking about that he's under distress and people are following him and he's okay, but like he's about to go to Mexico is what I've seen. He's going away is what they said from the FBI. That's different from him saying going to Mexico. So there's a couple different different things that it says in this, and what the FBI are saying that they seen in the car, or on his phone. I don't know, but all this has to say is this dude felt like he had to tell everybody something because it's very important. Now, remember, Tesla cars drive on their own. So if you want to say they didn't never show him shoot him in the head too. Like if they got the camera of the explosion, why can't they show us the explosion when they show him shooting himself in the head before he explodes? Like let's say if he had a timer, you get what I'm saying? Let's say that happened. Or did he shoot himself before he drove up there and he like just let it ride up there? He was doing it, you know. So think about the options that you can actually pull off in this what we call cabal of conspiracies. Anything can happen. And especially in a Tesla car. I thought they had cameras that recognize your face maybe in there. Elon Musk supposedly is on it. He's going to get all his tech guys to break it down. They're on it now. I've seen a whole bunch of stuff about that, but I'm telling you, they should have film of him blowing his head off and then the car blowing up. That's just my opinion.
Only we in China have this capability. Our OpCen, that's Operations Center, our OpCen location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, you said that word V-bid. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a V-bid, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a V-bid is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive V-bid. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion, 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said,
listen to this.
I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with.
Sorry about the commercials. You notice I'm a music engineer, so that's why I get those type of commercials.
About gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking.
So let me rewind it back a little bit.
AP. Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFOs and anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
To be honest with you, it is a fancy term you're going to find in science fiction. You won't find it in any, as far as I know, you won't find this in any kind of official manual or, scientific research. This is all science fiction. So, what struck me is his use, what strikes me now, not then, but what strikes me now is his use of a very specific term that nobody else would call it. If you asked me, I would say an anti-gravity propulsion system. That's how I would describe it because I don't know this stuff. He said
called it a
gravitic
UFO. I would have said, like, some flying orbs. I'm just another dude.
propulsion system.
We looked that up last night too, and all we could find was
propulsion
the same
system.
thing, science fiction type stuff. But there are some things that line up. One is, like I had mentioned, well, let's talk about the guy's story. Obviously, he had a VBID. Obviously, he was in the military and served. And
A stand your ground case like you have never seen before.
The defense turning to virtual reality to show the judge what they really claim happened. Local 10's Christina Vasquez live in Fort Lauderdale with this exclusive. Christina.
It is immersive and all from the view of a defense expert, and what the defense attorney in this case is calling a first in any courtroom anywhere in the state of Florida. A judge today did allow admitted into evidence a virtual reality experience as part of this Stand Your Ground hearing.
This is when he pulls the gun out, when he's backed up against the bar.
At a Stand Your Ground hearing Tuesday.
Nobody back.
Hope you heard me on that. What I was saying was, maybe I was muted, but this is a virtual reality court case. Like, they use VR headsets, and hopefully I was recording my voice. I gotta figure out a better way to mute myself and not forget. But here we go.
A Broward judge
Let me pull it back a little.
in this case is calling a first in any courtroom anywhere in the state of Florida. A judge today did allow admitted into evidence a virtual reality experience as part of this Stand Your Ground hearing.
This is when he pulls the gun out, when he's backed up against the bar.
At a Stand Your Ground hearing Tuesday,
Nobody backs off.
a Broward judge peered through a virtual reality headset.
These people are coming into his space, right?
And he's backing up.
And he's backing
so
up.
as not to be injured like his wife.
For an immersive experience, an artist designed to illustrate this defense expert's opinion.
As we back up and are being approached, and it's like a chest-to-chest encounter, no matter where you look.
That based on his review of depositions, a site visit, and sworn witness statements to police.
Now, this is where the vase was broken from the chair that had been thrown previous.
And this is actually a photograph from one of the videos, right?
Yes, that's correct. And
They made it
there's the
into a
names.
game.
And the purpose of putting in this photograph is to show what connection to this animation.
That's correct.
Miguel Abisu, the Southwest Ranch's wedding venue owner, facing 9 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for waving a gun at guests last year.
This is when he pulls the gun out, when he's backed up against the bar.
Did so in self-defense, he testified.
Standing right in his personal space.
Look, he was all
still
up in
has
his
not
face.
brought out
You
his
can
gun.
see it.
That is correct.
Virtual reality.
Placing the judge and the defendant's shoes.
Physical size difference, the age difference, and then he's grabbed.
Viewing the incident through Albisu's point of view.
Saying, get out, get out, get out.
As his defense attorney works to convince the judge to
got
give his client
everybody with
immunity under
virtual
Florida's
reality goggles.
Stand Your Ground law.
I believe is the first time in the state of Florida in a criminal.
Hold up. You got everybody in there with virtual goggles on. Where did they get? This dude got bread.
or civil case that virtual reality was admitted in evidence. And it may be the first time in the United States that virtual reality was admitted into a criminal hearing.
Wait a minute, hold up. They even had the fire extinguisher in there. Look, you see that right there? So if he needed to, he could have used that instead of the gun. Yeah, well, you know.
A criminal hearing.
And again, that moment is all related to the stand your ground hearing. Think of it like a mini trial before the judge. So this will play out at least to the end of this week. If they do not hear all of those witnesses by then, the defense attorney says at last check with the court, they'll actually resume this proceeding in February. So let's say that they lose their argument with the judge, that argument being that our client should have immunity under Florida stand your ground law. And instead, the judge decides to move this to a jury trial. You can expect, from what I can understand from legal analysts, that this whole issue of involving such a new technology, virtual reality, and the experience that it generates and presented to a juror, that would likely have its own evidentiary hearing in a pre-trial moment if this does go before a jury with both sides litigating the use of technology. We'll have to see. Reporting live for you, I'm Christina Vasquez, Local 10 News.
What does it take to be a Shenyun dancer? It takes a mind of steel.
Takes a mind of steel.
More sexual misconduct allegations against high-profile celebrities. This time, Fox Sports and two of its biggest stars are in the hot seat. A former hairstylist has filed a lawsuit accusing Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, and others of sexual battery and harassment, even going so far as to say Bayless offered her more than $1 million for sex. We've got our hands on this lawsuit, and we are bringing you the most shocking claims. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Now, as soon as this hit the headlines, we knew we had to cover it, right? The sexual misconduct allegations that have rocked the sports world. Los Angeles hairstylist Nushin Faraji says that she worked with Fox Sports from 2012 to August of last year, and during that time, she claims she was not only subjected to a hostile work environment that included inappropriate comments and touching, but she says she also dealt with retaliation from the company for speaking out. So she has filed both a class action complaint, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later, and an individual complaint on multiple grounds, including things like failure to pay minimum wages, unfair, unlawful, or fraudulent business practices, hostile work environment, and sexual battery. Now, in the opening paragraph of her complaint, in this lawsuit, it reads, Ms. Faraji brings forth this action because for over a decade at Fox, she was forced to endure a misogynistic, racist, and ableist workplace where executives and talent were allowed to physically and verbally abuse workers with impunity. When Ms. Faraji...
Hold up, isn't she white?
And others came forward to report the wrongdoing, instead of addressing their concerns, Fox retaliated against them while the perpetrators and those who protected them were inexplicably promoted. This case thus represents yet another in a long line of cases chronicling the toxic culture at Fox, marked by bad faith promises and repeated failures to address a poisonous and entrenched patriarchy. Now, you might be saying this and saying, I'm not a sports fan. I have no idea who we're talking about. That's okay. We're going to give you a rundown about who the defendants are in this case and other major players as well. So we want to give you a quick rundown of this. We're going to first dive into what Faraji accuses them of. So Faraji is suing Fox Corporation, Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1 and 2, often known as FS1 and FS2, and Fox Sports Production. And as well, she is also suing Charlie Dixon, Skip Bayless, and Joy Taylor. First, we'll start with Charlie Dixon. Charlie Dixon is the executive vice president of content for Fox Sports 1. And by the way, that's apparently Fox's flagship multi-sport national network. And he is responsible for overseeing the content and production for the network and has the authority to make decisions about employees. Skip Bayless is a renowned, albeit controversial, sports commentator who's worked in print, radio, television for decades. He's worked as a commentator with Stephen A. Smith on ESPN2's show First Take. This is before he debuted his own show with Shannon Sharp called Skip and Shannon, Undisputed. This was on Fox Sports 1 in 2016. And that, by the way, is where he worked with Nushin Faraji, who was part of the styling team for the network. And by the way, in 2021, The New York Post reported that Bayless had signed a $32 million contract with Fox. It's important when we talk about his wealth a little bit later. All right, now before we go any further, I have to talk to you guys about something. This is huge for me. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this, but there is a grooming line called Brickle. Brands you can see with not only reactions to some of the biggest sports news, but also glamour shots, videos where she gives advice about relationships or comments on current events. Now, Faraji says as Taylor continued to move from show to show, she had requested Faraji to continue to be her stylist. Now, the lawsuit notes that there are two other people here. There's Mark Silverman, president and COO of Fox Sports, and Eric Shanks, CEO and executive producer of Fox Sports. They could become named as defendants. They're not currently named, but they could be named as defendants as the case progresses and there's discovery in this lawsuit, because the complaint reads, on information and belief, Mr. Silverman and Mr. Shanks approved, were made privy to, or should have been privy to, all significant employment decisions and personnel-related investigations related to misconduct and or harassment by Fox Sports executives and talent. Further, on information and belief, Mr. Silverman and Mr. Shanks, along with Fox legal team, worked hard to protect perpetrators by forcing individuals who were witnesses to or targets of misconduct and or harassment to sign non-disclosure agreements upon separation from employment. So, on January 3rd, Faraji filed this complaint, laying out what she says had happened to her during her time at Fox Sports. And according to Faraji, she had worked part-time for Fox starting in 2012 and then went full-time in 2016. During that time, she says she befriended Joy Taylor, and this was after Taylor had moved from Miami to Los Angeles for the chance to host on Fox Sports. According to Faraji, Taylor didn't have a regular position at the time, but was available to fill in when needed. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because Faraji claims that when she would go out to meet Taylor for dinner or drinks, Charlie Dixon, again, the vice president for content, was always around. And Faraji says that she didn't even know he was an executive with the company until later, when she mentioned to Taylor that she'd seen that guy who always buys us drinks in the elevator. And that is when she said that Taylor shushed her, explained what Dixon's position was in the company. And Faraji believed, based on her interactions with these two people, that they were sleeping together. And when she warned Taylor that that might not be a great idea, that a relationship like that could be dangerous, Taylor allegedly told her not to worry about it. And by the way, apparently both Dixon and Taylor were married at the time.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, I'm on my way to the studio and the sun is setting on an opportunity and I don't want to...
So according to the complaint, in approximately July of 2016, word spread amongst Fox employees about a new show that was going to be a big deal, as it would star Mr. Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. It was known that Fox was looking for a woman with significant TV experience to also star. Therefore, it came as a surprise when Fox announced that Miss Taylor, who is a bartender and radio host in Miami with very little TV experience, would be the moderator of the new show, a sports debate program, Skip and Shannon Undisputed. So Faraji claims that Bayless didn't want Taylor to host the show. In fact, in the lawsuit, she claims that at a dinner between Taylor and Bayless, Taylor shows up, she's dressed, and starts acting very provocatively, potentially in a way to change his opinion about her being on the show.
Basically coming out hard to resist. She is hot. I ain't gonna lie.
But eventually, Bayless agreed to approve her on the show as a favor to Dixon. Okay, when the show premiered in 2016, Taylor, according to Ms. Faraji, had requested that Faraji be her hairstylist, and eventually Bayless had asked her to do his hair as well. Not long after, in January of 2017, Faraji claims that she had attended a birthday party for Taylor. When she goes to this birthday party, she says that Dixon was there, and he was drinking quite heavily. The complaint reads,
He wanted something extra. I don't know. I'm just commenting. I tell you, I don't watch none of this stuff.
As Miss Faraji was standing near the bar facing the crowd, Mr. Dixon approached her. He asked the bartender for a drink and then placed his arm on Miss Faraji's lower back. He asked how she was doing, if she was having fun, and if she wanted a tequila shot. Miss Faraji felt very uncomfortable by his unsolicited...
Why would you feel uncomfortable from a shot of 1800 on the rocks? You know what I'm saying? I drink it all the time.
Elicited touching and responded, "No, thank you." Mr. Dixon then moved his hand lower and started rubbing her body and grabbing her buttocks. Ms. Faraji was more.
Now, that right there, I can say that's when you can feel uncomfortable. But you said you felt uncomfortable before you didn't even know that happened. You must feel uncomfortable with this guy in general. So, didn't matter.
Mortified, but quickly thought to fake an incoming call to escape from the situation. The complaint goes on to say Ms. Faraji did not know who to turn to, but as she knew Ms. Taylor was sleeping with Mr. Dixon, she turned to her. Surprisingly, Ms. Taylor responded to get over it and explained that she herself only had her job because of Mr. Dixon and that Ms. Faraji only had her job because Ms. Taylor requested her. She warned that Mr. Dixon could take both away. The complaint goes on, Ms. Faraji was terrified and then turned to her co-worker, Anonymous, to discuss the situation. Anonymous responded that Mr. Dixon was disgusting, that the entire situation was sick, that it wasn't shocking given Fox's culture, and that Ms. Faraji should remain quiet if she wanted to keep her job. As a single mother who needed the job to support her son, Ms. Faraji had no choice but to remain silent. So, by the way, that is one of the reasons why you might be saying, well, if all this happened, why didn't she file a lawsuit sooner? And we'll get into more of the allegations. But this is a reason. She needed the...
Oh, that's what we got there. I'm not going to go through all the extra stuff, but ooh, looks like sports entertainment's got a little bit of a problem on with women, I guess. You never know. They try to take out my boy Bill Cosby, so I don't know. I don't believe anything unless I see it for myself. But moving along, I'm not nobody to say what's right or wrong, if it happened or if it didn't. I think a lot of people put themselves in their own situations. But let's see here. And
found dead inside a Cybertruck Wednesday at the Trump International.
That's not what I was looking for. I think that's all I got for you guys. Yeah. Actually, no. There's this other stuff. I'm gonna end it off with this. I think, well, how long is this?
On October 19th, 2023, Wells Fargo warned its clients that all checking accounts are likely to be replaced with digital.
Space is a new arena of U.S.-China confrontation. Days ago, NASA chief warned that Beijing may be using civilian space programs to conceal military objectives in the space.
All right. Now, this is crazy experience, like extra, because this is like something that I see on my algorithm. But I want you to see it and you can put it into your own mind what you think. But these are real news stations saying this stuff, and it's what it is.
Space is a new arena of U.S.-China confrontation. Days ago, NASA chief warned that Beijing may be using civilian space programs to conceal military objectives in the space. And now Chinese military has accused United States of militarizing space by building a sophisticated spy satellite network with Elon Musk's SpaceX.
What if I told you the most significant space race of our time isn't between the US and Russia, but between the US and China?
and it's happening right now quietly beneath the radar. Elon Musk, the visionary mind behind SpaceX, Tesla, and Starlink, recently dropped a bombshell about China's rapidly advancing space program, claiming China's space program is far more advanced than most people realize. But what does this really mean? What's at stake for the future of space exploration and for humanity itself? Let's dig deeper, because the answers might just surprise you. Chapter 1. What is China really up to in space? China's space program, led by the China National Space Administration,
they all use the same
CNSA,
symbol too.
has made leaps that sound like science fiction.
You notice that? It always looks like the same Star Trek little symbol. Let me go back to that. That's weird, dude. Let's go back to that. Let's see.
Science fiction. Their Chang'e lunar missions have transitioned, led by the China National Space Administration.
My fault. Look at that. Okay. Does that? It even says it. China National Space. It doesn't even use Chinese letters. Who is this for? Like, I'm confused. Doesn't make sense. I would think I would see Chinese letters there instead of American letters. Why is it that it's Chinese? Well, I mean, why is it American? Whatever. Here we go.
CNSA has made leaps that sound like science fiction. Their Chang'e lunar missions have transitioned from groundbreaking milestones like landing on the moon's far side in 2019 to Chang'e 06 in 2024, which brought back lunar samples from areas no one else had touched. These are not just symbolic wins. They provide China with exclusive access to rare isotopes and minerals that could redefine energy production on Earth. Now, here's a chilling thought. If China can mine the moon for rare resources, what's stopping them from monopolizing space's most valuable assets entirely? Beyond the moon, China's Mars ambitions have also taken center stage. After successfully landing their Tianwen-1 rover in 2021, China announced plans for a crewed Mars mission by 2033. The timeline is bold, and the implications even bolder. But exploration isn't China's only agenda. Chapter 2. Space, the next battleground. For decades, space was seen as a peaceful frontier, but recent moves suggest China is preparing to weaponize the cosmos. Take the White Emperor, a sixth-generation fighter jet capable of deploying weapons from orbit, unveiled in 2024. Analysts speculate this system could enable rapid, precision strikes, rendering traditional defense systems obsolete. If true, it changes the rules of global conflict. And then there's satellite swarm technology, networks of small satellites capable of disabling or even destroying enemy systems in orbit. Imagine critical infrastructure, GPS, internet, global trade paralyzed during a geopolitical crisis. The implications? Staggering. The balance of power could shift overnight. Even Elon Musk hinted at this possibility, noting Starlink's potential as a decentralized defense network. While marketed as a tool for global internet access, its ability to maintain communication during conflict raises questions about its strategic intent. Chapter 3. The Lunar Economy. A new gold rush? China's lunar ambitions reach far beyond exploration. They are strategically targeting helium-3, a rare isotope found in the moon's regolith that could revolutionize energy production. Unlike traditional nuclear fusion, helium-3 fusion promises clean, nearly limitless power with minimal radioactive waste. This isn't science fiction. It's a potential trillion-dollar industry that could redefine.
You heard he said this isn't science fiction. Gravitic proportion systems. I've only heard about that in science fiction.
redefine the global energy landscape and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. China's plan to establish a lunar base by 2030 in partnership with Russia is explicitly geared toward long-term habitation.
This one cleaning hack makes years of dirt disappear in seconds. Take any dirty surface, spray over the grease or mold,
and resource extraction. Such a base would provide a significant advantage in mining helium-3 and other extraterrestrial resources. But what happens if China secures control over a resource critical to humanity's energy future? Could this foster international cooperation to unlock its potential for the greater good? Or will it lead to economic coercion and geopolitical tension? Elon Musk has repeatedly warned against monopolizing lunar resources, advocating for a collaborative approach to ensure the moon's bounty benefits all of humanity. Yet history shows that competition for valuable resources often escalates into conflict. Will nations heed the call for unity, or are we on the brink of a new Cold War, this time fought over lunar wealth? The decisions made in the coming decade will determine whether the moon becomes a beacon of shared progress or a new...
First of all, we never even went to the moon yet. That's what I believe. But who do I know? That's wrapping it up for you guys. That's another breaking news. I'll be on tomorrow night after 12:30. That boy's good. Everybody, please like, subscribe, give a comment. I need everybody to help me out so I can be able to get it going. You know, I'm just going through the rabbit hole of the internet of breaking news. Peace.